Hi everyone, it's Linnea for Miss Ink Stamps, and I am going to get inky today. Spray inky, that is, and this is not a technique for the faint of heart. By the time I was done with these two cards, I had ink all over my hands, and it didn't really come off for a day or two. Nevertheless, let's get started. I have two stencils from the recent Miss Ink Stamps stencil release, Oopsie Daisy and Basket Case. Now, I should preface this by saying I have used Distress Oxide Sprays maybe a handful of times, 2-3 times at the most, and I have only ever used them to bring life to just plain white cardstock. I've never used them with stencils. So I wasn't sure how this was going to turn out, and I picked these two stencils on purpose. I chose one stencil. This basket case stencil has a lot of open spaces, so a lot of places where the ink is going to actually hit the paper. This Oopsie Daisy stencil is more of a chunky stencil is what I call it. There's a lot of actual stencil, but not a lot of places where the ink is going to hit the white cardstock. So I wanted to see which would be better for this inking technique, and you can decide for yourself in the end. I have a definite favorite, but I'd love to know which background is your favorite. So I'm going to create with this basket case stencil, I'm going to use some blue, green, and yellow inks. In both cases, you'll see me starting with my lightest ink, which is the Squeeze Lemonade Yellow spray. And then I went on to Twisted Citron, which I would think would be my medium, and then Mermaid Lagoon is my darkest. Now, I wanted to kind of vary the colors. I wanted to have a lot of my light, a little bit of my medium, and then even less of my dark. So I tried to do a technique where you just kind of press down a little bit on that blue spray nozzle, and it kind of backfired and I kind of got ink everywhere, but it's okay. Let's move on to the second background. I'm going to do a similar idea, starting with yellow. This one just happens to be mustard seed, and I love how this one's a little bit brighter. And then I have, let's see, this is Spiced Marmalade. And then I also have a little bit of picked raspberry. This one turned out a little bit more like how I had in mind, a heavier yellow presence, and then a medium orange, and then some pink. However, the colors did all blend together, and so it all kinds of just looks like a bright, happy, orangey background. I like both of them, but I do happen to think that the chunkier stencil, the Oopsie Daisy stencil, worked a little bit better. I think in the more open stencil, the basket case stencil, there was just too much ink for my liking, and so I liked having more white space against the ink. I want to have a simple image on top, so I'm using the tea table, and this is from the Tea Party stamp set. I did a card back when this stamp set first came out where I did a 1-layer card, and I stamped the table with the sentiment that says a very happy birthday to you or a very merry unbirthday to you on top of each of the tables. And I love that card. I love how the sentiment fits right on top of the table. So I wanted to recreate this, but kind of step it up a little bit with those inky backgrounds. I'm going to go ahead and do just a bit of Copic coloring. I have E37, I think was my darkest color for the browns, and now coloring with E35. I start with the darkest color and add just a little line where I think the shadow should be, and then I come in with my next darkest color and extend those shadows a little bit and continue to blend it out. Then I have E33, again blending out those shadows just a little bit, and then I'll finish up with E31. Now by the time I get to E31, I will color over the whole portion, so it will blend out the colors a little bit more, but I have been really stretching myself to use what I call a scary dark color. So that E37 color, I really didn't blend that out very much. You can definitely see a defined shadow, and it used to scare me to leave a shadow like that, but I've really been liking having a shadow that you can absolutely see and there's no mistaking that there's a shadow there. Now for the tablecloths, I'm going to color them to match my Distress Oxide spray backgrounds. So this one cloth here, the polka dot one, I'm going to color green. I have YG17, YG25, YG23, and YG21. And just doing the same thing, coloring with my darkest marker first, and then to my second darkest, my third lightest, or my third darkest, and then my lightest. Originally, I thought that I would try to color around the polka dots, even though I planned to fill them in with a white gel pen. And then in the end, I got lazy and just colored right over the top of them. Like I said, I'm going to be coming in with a white gel pen and coloring them up, so it really doesn't matter. For my blue tablecloth, I have BG15 and BG34. And again, I will just be coloring over where the white lines are going to be, where I have to. So like when I come across horizontally, I'll just color right over that. But for most of the time, these stripes are easier to skip over than the polka dots were. Then I will repeat the process with the other table, just changing up the colors a little bit. I did an orange and a yellow tablecloth on my second table to match the background. Once I was done coloring, I grabbed my white gel pen and added those white gel pen highlights back onto the tablecloths. And then I'm grabbing the unbirthday sentiment, and I'm going to stamp the birthday sentiment right on top of the table so I can fussy cut both of these together. I wasn't sure if this was going to work. At the very least, I thought I would be able to get one, and maybe I would have to separate out and cut out the images separately on the second one. But look at how perfectly this fit. So now I can take my scissors, fussy cut around both the table and the sentiment all at once and have just one image to work with. And then I will pop these both up with foam. That's it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please leave me a comment below and let me know which background you prefer, the fine detail basket case stencil or the chunkier oopsie daisy stencil background. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.